Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents G.I. Joe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the G.I. Joe Classified Series, number 86, Low Light. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. I was trying to think of something witty to say about low light, but I couldn't. Foreign up! Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Hole here for the peg hook at retail G.I. Joe Classified Series. The G.I. Joe and the stripes are embossed. Nice white stripe here showcasing a digital render of the accessories. And then a nice practical shot of the figure and some artwork here. G.I. Joe Classified Series. Again, G.I. Joe and the stripes are embossed. And it does continue the embossing, that is, continues around to the side with the stripes. G.I. Joe Low Light. G.I. Joe Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, nice artwork of Low Light. G.I. Joe Classified Series number 86. Then on this side, G.I. Joe, that same nice artwork, only it's like blue. Number 86. Here's the QR code. If you want to scan it, I'll hold it here for a second. You can pause it if you need to. And then down here, some of his file card information. Number 86, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe Low Light. He is 6.3 inches tall or 160 millimeters. Nice digital render of the figure and his accessories, and then some digital render close-ups. And then, warning, attention, Achtung, don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. Parents, GIJoe.com. Small, fine, legalese, made in China print. This symbol I'm not going to learn. That symbol I'm not going to learn. And Hasbro print. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at the accessories. But we don't need it right this second. First up, here we have his rifle, molded in black plastic, and it does have lots of molded details. The clip is removable, or ammunition magazine if you prefer, and it does have a spot for the bipod that you see here, and the scope, and the silencer, or a blast effect here. So that's very cool. Here is the bipod piece, and it's pretty plain. It does have some molded details in it, molded in black plastic. Here is the scope. Again, molded in black plastic, and nice molded details there. And here is the suppressor. It's got a port for muzzle effect there in the end. It's got nice molded details in it as well. It's got a post on the end of it to plug into the rifle. And so just pretty cool looking all around. Now we'll go ahead and put the rifle together because we'll have to take it back apart in a minute. But you see right here, there's just a little clip in the middle of the bipod, just clips in there. Now I'll go bumping the camera, because what's a Digital Caveman review without bumping the camera? And here is the sight. The port's in right there, that rectangular port. So there's how that looks. And then the silencer again, there's a port in the end of the barrel. That post just goes right in there. So there is the rifle all put together. Set it over to the side for a minute. He also comes with this submachine gun, which I couldn't tell you what kind it is. It is kind of cool looking though. Molded in black plastic, nice molded details. It does have a removable magazine. So there is that. He also has this knife, molded in black plastic, silver paint out for the blade. He also has this piece, which I'm guessing is some type of communication device. Or it could be some kind of rangefinder. I'm really not sure. Here's his very distinctive red goggles. Here's his backpack, molded in this color, and it does have some nice molded details, even on this side, part of it at least. Well, that's got some molded details in it as too. Very textured, so pretty cool looking. Then he has his bag for his rifle, or his case for his rifle. And it's on these plastic hinges that over time are going to go kaput. But you can see it does have a post here and a port here as well. But it does have some nice molded details here on the outside. A nice texture to it as well. Then on the inside you can see there's imprints for which part of the disassembled weapon goes. And as far as that goes, we'll disassemble the weapon here real quick. So there goes the suppressor, there goes the scope, there goes the bipod, and the ammunition magazine stays in the rifle. So you just put it right there in place and it stays. And that goes for all the little goodies. So there's the suppressor. There's the scope, and then the bipod goes back here. And again, they all stay in there pretty well due to friction. Then you just close the case up and you see it's got a clip here and a clip here, and the spots for those clips molded in, and you'll hear it snap. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. Beep. So here you can see they have done a very nice face sculpt and paint application or face printing technology, whichever it is. And this, I think, is a separate piece glued onto the head. The hair, I do believe it looks like, yeah, it's molded in as part of the head. So he's got some details down here in the neck. Paint app here. These buckles, the belt buckle, the belt itself, these pads right here, and right here, and right here, those pads. And it looks like everything else is molded in color. I forgot this paint app right here, and the grenades, And then on the back side, some silver straps and another black strap there. And again, the belt is a paint app around the back as well. So, pretty good looking figure. Let's take a look at his articulation. He's on that standard dumbbell and ball joint at the bottom of the neck that G.I. Joe Classified has. So he looks up that high, he looks down that far. He's got chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He can do the full Exorcist. At the shoulder, it's got a butterfly, goes back that far, forward that far. 360 degrees of rotation, and his arm goes up a little past 90 degrees. Cut at the upper bicep for another 360 degree rotation. Double hinge pinless elbow, and it will give you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge, and then on the other side is up and down hinge. It's got a standard ab crunch hinge in, well, the abdomen, and he does have like a dumbbell in the waist, and in conjunction those two will let him lean back that far, crunch forward that far, and then he does have a little bit of hula in there, and he can lean left and right. Mine's a little tight. I can't even get it to spin at the waist. I haven't been able to unlock that ball of that dumbbell that's in there, and I've tried heat gun, which I do not recommend on the waist or the hips of G.I. Joe figures, and I have tried hot water, so I may have to try hot water again because I really don't think it's gonna do well with the heat gun. So pull down hinge at the hips, and that gives him the full splits. He can kick forward that far, which is about 90 degrees. Back that far. Cut at the upper thigh for a full 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinged pinless knee, and it will give you that much bend at about the mid shin here. Well, the lower mid shin. There's a boot cut for another 360 degrees of rotation. Ankle tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. Now he can store all of his gear. So first you have to put the goggles on him. So there's that. They are a little thick looking, so that's going to be one of my dings for this guy. Knife goes in the sheath over here on this leg. And you just have to move that around till you get it where you want it. This device goes in this other leg strap holster deal. So that's how that goes in there. And then there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Of course, the handle for his rifle case he can hold in his hand, but it does also have a peg here, and it ports into his back. So there's that. Then the backpack also, you know, it's got a post, and there's a port in the gun bag, so it doesn't look great that way. He doesn't like to stand up that way. Well, I say that, now he'll stand up. So you can store it that way. He can hold the smaller gun in his hand, but there's also this post here, and you put the trigger guard around it, and there you have it, my friends. The figure and his accessories and storage. It's time for my favorite part of a review: comparisons. And here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Lowlight with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tunnel Rat and the G.I. Joe Classified Series Spirit with Freedom. Here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Lowlight with the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Trooper with Swarm Gear and the Valaverse Action Force Scarab. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Lowlight, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified Series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Lowlight, I have to say this is one of the figures I was kind of looking forward to. Not that I'm a super big Lowlight fan, but I always thought his figure was cool back in the A Real American Hero days. And I think this is a pretty good representation of it. Now, what I would have liked to have seen on this figure, rather than the goggles just being a separate thing, they could have, you know, made a wig piece for this figure with the goggles sculpted in, or more appropriately, I think, or what would have worked better is just an alternate head sculpt all around, one with goggles and one without, and I think that would have served this figure a lot better. The removable goggles, just the strap on them, just because of what it is, it looks a little bit thick and maybe unrealistic. But then again, we are talking about an action figure, so unrealistic maybe, too harsh of a term, but it definitely looks like it's too thick. And I understand that it has to be that way because of tolerances and stuff like that. But again, I think an ungoggled and a goggled head sculpt, so two different head sculpts for this figure, would have been the best option. And barring that, the swappable head pieces or the wigs, would have been another viable option, at least in my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And it's not like this is, it makes it a horrible figure. It's just something that I would have rather seen with this figure. I do like his weapons. I do like his storage. I do like the fact that you can store all the gear on the figure, and that's across the line. And I really appreciate it when that's, a thing that they really try to concentrate on, is getting all the gear with the figure, so you don't have a lot of gear that's, in boxes or whatnot and have to hunt it up if you need it. Something I would like to see further on is like when they do alternate head sculpts or extra hands with a figure on the, you know, the rare occasion that we get that with G.I. Joe, or the wigs even, that maybe there's a piece of the backpack that not necessarily opens up, but maybe the back comes off the backpack and you can store those pieces in the backpack rather than just having it be a chunky just piece of plastic. But there may be tolerance reasons for that as well. I'm not really sure, but I like his rifle case. I do like the fact that it's molded to fit all the pieces and you just don't just dump it in there and close it up. And I like his alternate weapon as well. And so just off, I think it's mostly, for the most part, he's a really cool looking figure. I've always thought he was kind of a cool looking figure. And just that one thing, those goggles, man, that's the only real, and it's not even a huge issue. It's just, you know, something that could have been done better. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.